Okay, well, try a big one here. Emotion versus its role or its essence in reality. Kind of try to describe the mechanism of how emotion is important in the recipe of the questioning of your life through reality, that it's all founded on emotion. Emotion for the ability to be able to perceive reality and perceive reality in a personal way, so it provide your own demand and satisfaction of trying to conceive of what needs to be established for you along your life. That usually being the good guy. You want to be the good person. So wanting to be the good person, you kind of have to have a firm idea of what are the demands of your master, because you put yourself in an enslavement position right off the bat, because you put yourself in a place where you're demanding. Not that it's a good or bad thing, because good and bad is not judged on those ways anyways. You're in a position to receive an order, you're in a position to be directed, you're in a position of enslavement. You demand of reality conduct, so you follow the culture. So your heart is quickly fashioned in the way of the culture you grew up in. As much as in a way that you're compatible with it or completely uncompatible with it, and you tend to try to push yourself out of the ideology, so you cope or don't cope. If you cope and willing, then your life is easy. If you're not coping, then you kind of, it's your own decision that decides to put those barriers in your way, and those barriers will be descended with the reasoning of your heart. At one point I can't do that because it transgress my moral laws too much. I don't agree with it for that and that and that reasoning that are usually a question of immorality. You don't find it just, not at all, and you don't see any justice coming out of the recipe that's advanced in front of you, and you're refractory of the idea, and you kind of tend to think everything opposite to that idea. And being once in a while all poured out in ideology for the principal aspect of what reality offers for long term and like real substance. It all happens in the mind. Doesn't happen in the flesh. So to say that every work that is done for emotional purpose aren't probably logic, but for your own self. Therefore, kind of reach the potential of your heart ideology. Expand yourself, show the God within you, exert your competencies, all those aspects to, in a way, put yourself right away in a position of demand of reality. You're so valuable that reality is there and offered to you as a thing you can use as you wish. And you develop an ideology in that. Raising the importance of the flesh indirectly by posing or confirm the ideology of gaining in materialistic aspects situate you in a better position for an easier life. Comfort. You buy your comfort. So now your intelligence obey into a manner so to satisfy your heart or your desire, your envies, your ideology that makes you think that you'll feel better in life. And that can become ideology in a manner that everybody does it by affirming within themselves their own conceivedness of what reality is, therefore paving the world with all the colors that soul process have provided into an imaginative systematic of our reality should work according to their personal desires that are formed by their experience. So it makes the universe immensely big. And that's very much the potential where you lose a soul into imagination by refusing to attach coherency together to resolve into a firm impression of conviction that reside into a clear understanding of a simple principalities that drives your life around, and and you understand how the gears function on you, how reality function on you, revealing how you function in reality. So there's kind of two bases of emotional plane that can only be seized as importancy into the motion of that new birth when you receive that conviction of how the principal gears are geared together to produce that work into efficiency. That mystery that is taught in the Bible, that mystery of iniquity, that you understand what is the mystery of the equanimity is the depth of your transgression as human being. And that emotion of conviction, to realize with that depth of conviction that that reality is borrowed to you in the manner that it doesn't belong to you. You're kind of just put into that situation, but the situation don't belong to you. So it should kind of create a sense of respect there, and then that sense of respect should be amplified when you realize that that machine that is we perceive as being reality is made by that creator that is in the image of us. So his moral based intelligence result. That's what reality has been posed in front of us. That reality is for the power and the aspects of the flesh. And that flesh, animal might, I mean, they're emotional driven. That's all. That's all they have to get to be driven around. But they're way better hooked into spirituality than we are. For the ideology of the realization that reality is spiritual manifested in intelligence, and that's where I kind of bring that point. That's it, is intelligence, really. And if you use a bit of that intelligence, you perceive quickly that the realm of emotion is self-created, is depending of what you demand of reality. If you have a conceivedness that reality owes you something, which is how society has been geared for all the ego countries anyways. But here in Mexico, it's the guay, it's the buffalo, it's the beef, and it's very much self. And I think Africa is very much self too. That separation that everybody receive in everyday activity in your life, every time that you have the firm assumption that you have found the problem, you have found the solution to the problem. And then that you put your shit together and you fix your problem, and then you try to switch and pada, it works. And when it works, it's kind of just a supplement of the peace that you already received, pretty much the peace right off the bat when you receive that problem and you saw the solution of the problem, and then it was just a matter of applying the works to achieve that solution. But the big thing is to perceive the solution. Then only you can do an efficient work toward that solution. So when you solve the problem in your mind, you have that first sense of conviction, a visualization of the solution of your problematic. And then when you flick the switch and thing works like they're supposed to work and you fix the problem, then you gain that extra assurance that now you have witness within reality that your concision of the systematic was right, so you could diagnose and found the problem relate to the amount of comprehension that you had towards that system. And you know your shit or not, then you can fix it. So the same problem solved for your sewing machine at home, and the same problem solved for the functioning of reality on your life. If it fits on a system that's coherent, therefore, it applies all the law that necessitates to be coherent. And when you had a problem on that sewing machine, there was no feeling involved in other manners than I gotta fix that problem. You feel uncomfortable for the time you have not solution the diagnose. You're in the search mode. But you're searching to fix your sewing machine. You're not trying to fix other things in life. Now the time is for the sewing machine. So you reason the sewing machine and the solution is in that manner emotional. It doesn't relate to emotion. Maybe other than the fact that you feel that it's the same problem as the other time, but if you feel like it's the same problem as the last time or the other time, you feel that it's the same problem because it's the same noise sticking thing that happened in your machine. It relates from the same real apparent problem, symptom. So in a manner, you play with your realization of life the same way that you're fixing your sewing machine. That you go through that emotional less other than receiving the conviction of having received the solution of a problem. And that's that peace that can be applied in the same manner as within life. That now you feel in control of your life because you understand how reality function on you. And these are such simple things to line up in someone's mind to put themselves into that realm of reality that you might have been diverted logical or within the realm of coherency. What is the necessity of life? It's funny because Mark Zuckerberg is nobody I praise or anybody anything like that, but he had a good one day, and they were arguing that the parents are yelling at their kids to do their homework, but the kids are busy playing with their friends. And then you think, what if the real important thing in life is that they play with their friend, and that the homework is just some kind of social brainwash that you impose on your kid? I say, wow. And that's how I see it, Ro. That the most precious thing that human being has or detain or have in his disposition that is fair with reality is another man. So to be able to go deep in discussion and have a witness within coherency and logic, because that's one thing within human realm, that coherency and logic are hard to go around if perceived of a better ideology, especially when you work your thought patterns into the work of breaking apart things, bringing things into more simple to comprehend, so that incoherency appears right away, and whoa, that doesn't make sense. That doesn't, for some reason, it doesn't make sense. And that's where, in a way, that strange feeling of intuition come into play. And once again, that intuition is a power of the mind, so it depends how you pose your heart towards reality, if you have accepted it or not. But when you have accepted it, you're into search of verity, into trying to conceive it into the simplest aspect. For that kind of action reaction dynamic. Why are you doing that? Why are you thinking like that? Why the search of the heart, the search of the motion of the why? What is the reasoning? And keeping in mind that the seed that God gave us is the power of the mind. But it acts on flesh. We're that ball of flesh, so we're generating emotions. And that's a regard in life that we try to hide behind our personality, and in many ways that we build an image of what we think is cool to be. And that kind of distract the real reason of living out of its center, bringing it into regard to the appearance, and trying to establish the position of the heart through the way you're perceived by that reality, by the world you react within. That that lack of being able to put reality into a tangible plane for its usefulness put you in that states of incomfort towards reality for its incomprehension, that you don't quite get it, but then a quick distraction into the participation in within the society. And as I always say, it's like a double byproduct. Your participation into that society, as that the reasoning that has to do with salvation has nothing to do with your daily living, and that's exactly the realm that you want to separate in between the two. That your daily living is not your line of survival. It's only there to keep your intelligence going. And that's kind of the first base plane. If a person can conceive of that into his consciousness, bringing the individual smaller into the realm of that reality, for losing the perspective that that reality owes you something. And then you turn your mind, no, I have a chance of life, I have a chance to discover what that reality offers. And if I have attempt of that reality, therefore, I kind of cut myself for the other side of the realm of that real reality. Then wondering what's the work of that culture that brings me abroad that way into my thought pattern. Fuck, man. Because if everybody would solution what reality is here for, that machine of hope wouldn't hold anymore. Because humanity would be have the consciousness of what they're doing in reality when they're putting their flesh in action, transforming reality for their heart desires, which is a big no-no in reality. That reality don't belong to you. You shouldn't be doing that. You should adapt yourself to the circle of life that's been established here and imitate animal. Use your intelligence to be able to survive because you're handicapped. You're a man. You don't have the claw, you don't have the fur, you're kind of screwed that way. So use a bit of intelligence to make yourself half-assed comfy, but you don't need to build cathedrals and cars to achieve that. You need to discover how precious other human souls are and how damageable the possession of idols is towards that phenomenon of purity. For the direct connection of why would you attach yourself to material that don't serve you for your daily bread kind of thing? Why would you encumber yourself with things that you start feel that they're precious for you, but you have to maintain them because they're things. So you have to involve work into them for no gain back, but your personal emotional state that you kind of find that You need to create like a little paradise in your house and have all those little things that decor your environment. Build yourself a little paradise on earth that way. That's exactly what you understand of that action that the devil is manifesting on the equation of humanity for the time being that are now. Within my Bible colors, it's the time of realization of hope. You bring hope into realization. And hope is the solution for life in the manner that is your work towards assuring being scared of dying. You try to find a solution because you're scared of dying and you try to avoid death somehow. You're scared of death. So you're realizing your hope. So you're putting that biotech machine in place so you can recreate life. Computerized biolab. And there you go. You have the tool the devil needs to incorporate put himself into flesh, into reality. We have conceived that for him. Through our big intelligence, we're so bright with our technologies. So we encage ourselves, because the demons are real, but they don't have any effectiveness on reality. Only us have effectiveness, and that effectiveness comes from our idea that is exactly the realm of the devil, of Lucifer, of the light, of the idea of being able to conceive of matter, the transforming ideology into matter, idea into matter. Realize your bright ideas. That's the mechanism that Satan used. That you think you're so bright because you have found a way to extend life. No, you have just brought about more that technology that brings the whole idea of life altogether closer to a realization. Kind of wonder how they've been able to build the atomic bomb when the guys knew that they were actually working on the atomic bomb, but now you do it innocently. You don't really realize you're doing that. That's the real trick of the devil. When it's plain Jane in your face, it's just a recognition of the vileness of human heart. Whatever he's commanded to do to have his own little success, then he's doing it, moral or not, doesn't matter. He's got his success. And that's basically what it is to work for the devil. As simple for the things are as you're not doing what's logical to be done to conserve life, to keep life alive. Not for cherishing it, but for cherishing it for the time that other humans are present so you can share your life with, kind of thing. That you develop your love for other human being, that you love to have discussion of truth and comfort with other human being, trying to establish the systematic of reality, try to stay in the realm of conviction, separating about the principles of reality, so to try to have enough members, so to see an interaction in between those members that produces the work. And not see reality as one unit. That's what you see, and you don't really ask question about. No, that's the only thing that you have to pose question about. You know, what reality really is. And that's why the Bible is so precious, because it explains you so clearly what reality is. And it's the phenomenon of intelligence, being able to wrap up logic and comprehension on things within their relationship and their forces and their interaction and all of those things that brings complications, balance. So to be in extase of, to be able to acknowledge of, that the system is intelligence, mostly, primarily, at the foundation, intelligent. Because if you look closely into that product of God that He produced reality with, I know it's within the curse, so that's what the curse is, but that's what also what reality is. But Mother Nature is not very moral, in the sense that it doesn't seem to capture too much the idea of compassion and comprehension and help, and it's good to give, and all those concepts. It's jungle, it's the stronger winds and force related, brute force related, with no feelings. It's survival all the time. Survival all the time. We don't get that problem because we're master of that universe that's called reality for our consciousness. We're king of the kingdom. But the thing is, are you treating it right? What is being king of is well managed. Is it managed right? Probably not. And all those little piles of conviction, of basic nonsense, of passing through reality with our life, as the disrespect we do with Mother Nature, impregnating all that garbage bullshit that decors, goes out of fashion, and you end up in the garbage. So you treat Mother Nature that way, then it's like a complete. If you see it for the essence of that whole reality, for reality emotion. And to be able to perceive emotion, you need sensitivity, and it's like the base. Are you sensitive enough to realize that that reality don't belong to you? Therefore, it's like don't touch what you don't know of, kind of thing. Have at least that basic respect. Observe and don't change it. And it's very much in the Bible a very clear thing. Don't chip the stone. For an altar, for me, for the idea that right away, or you pass the comprehension that in reality you belong to God, and I'm being God. I'm never gonna ask you to chip the stone to represent me. That's not the idea. I don't want you to chip the stone. I want you to regard that stone as it is, for that's how I created it. And that should be enough for you to be able to do your stuff. If you want to pile it around to contain a fire, go for it. Go for it. And if the fire cracks it, so be it. But you don't have to clap your hands. You don't have to hit the string. You don't have to hit the rock with the stick so it produces water. You don't have to do a percussion. You shouldn't be doing a percussion. You shouldn't be banging things together. Your hands. Applauding. You shouldn't be doing that. It's to applauding and clapping your hand is to show that you have no more control on your emotion, and now you have to do something, and you clap your hands because it's energetic and it hurts, and that's how you dissipate your inability to handle your own emotions. You pass it in the physical work and the world, and you injure yourself with it kind of thing. So you're able to kind of contain it through the pain that is to clap your hands together. It's not good. You should control that with your mind, your pile of emotion. They're all basic. I mean, they. That's when. That's when you. In a way, you trench it for its pure core. In a reasoned manner, why you wouldn't clap your hands and things like that. But then it makes you remember that Jesus was with you since the beginning. And you hated to clap your hand. You never felt good about clapping your hand and dancing and playing the comedy and all those things in life that were not rational but emotional, and then they were emotional driven for the regarded aspect of it. You could never cope with that. And you understand you understand that all along your life you couldn't cope with incoherency, and that was cut cut chase to the base. that that when things weren't holding in common sense, I was you don't like it. And you're fast thrown away by the populace because it's hard for you to be able to chit chat about stupid garbage things, because you want brain capacity from people. You want to connect on the way they see things. And for me, it's all only well explained when the explanation is coherent. And so it creates that conviction. And all that to say again that that basic emotion of conviction applied on reality changes the recipe of what emotion really is in reality, and understanding that salvation is that conviction towards the mechanism of reality, therefore your purpose of life. And then the bad is that you don't comprehend that, and you're troubled about reality and you don't accept reality the way it is, and you fight and you try to change it, and then you waste your energy working against God. God is gonna create that antichrist, and that's what his plan is. He's gonna create antichrist, and there's no going around that. And there's a certain process that needs to be done to go through time to change our perspective towards reality, and has to go through kind of all the reset backward within one generation. It'll happen super fast. That's the last big push that brings to Armageddon. Where the old game will become so crisp as for the description of conviction towards God is, as there will be two. There'll be the elect and the rest of the world in a manner. The elect and the crowd, everything that goes in the wedding. But the only reason that you won't be receiving the locus, it'll be only a fact of conviction that whether you would receive them or not in the same type as others, you'd understand that it'd be something that you'd be half-fast perceiving, some kind of ghost and things like that. Everything that is part of the supernatural will start appearing in reality. The more you convince of the effectiveness of that new reality you entered in, that is purely spiritual, because through time things to become purely spiritual, and so they become purely spiritual, you have to lose all base with what reality offers as coherency, and totally believe that in reality everything in your imagination can become possible. So you completely lose aspect of reality for the fact that now you can believe in your imagination. And that's the big effect that the Antichrist will provoke. And give you the key to be able to penetrate that spiritual realm. And then that thing is huge. But you become like a, how can I say it? you'd have all the keys, and it'd be easy to enter every doors. Bringing Armageddon about. And that Armageddon described in the Bible is a complete spiritual warfare. That everybody eats everybody through deceiveness, where all aspect of any conviction become precious. That by the end of time, everybody will understand the real effectiveness of a lie. If you wanna see it that way, everybody will bow in front of me. Everybody will bow in front of verity. So all lie will be revealed. It's not that all the lie will be revealed as much as what is the consistency of the life, what is the substance of the life, what life provoke and what it has as an effect. I'll get on the last point with that. All that to separate the 144,000 that have received new birth, a bit like I received, and that has, even though, and it's like I do those videos and I put a lot of freaking bullshit ahead, and maybe I'll be proven wrong later, and I'm happy to be proven wrong and have a discussion about all that stuff. But what I was to say. That aspect of being able to play with verity for the pure sense of what that verity is, for the fact of the complete different realm that it has to do with. Whatever position you're in doesn't ever disturb the fact that you have comprehended reality and now knows how reality goes about and works, and all the forces applied in that reality and towards you, and you reacting towards it, and the mechanism of you and it, and its purpose altogether. It's a complete different way of systematizing thought in the manner of deconstructing, and it's really deconstruct and and look at every block that you take apart, because every block of deconstruction pretty much contains its the old message in verity for what a soul need to perceive of it to attain that salvation, if there's a way to attain it. That way to attain it is to look for truth, look for how reality function, look 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 at the major forces that are driving the world and how they achieve their work. What are humans being weakness? How much he becomes weak when he attach himself in materials, so to keep the law and conform with the law, so not to lose his material. How much you how much your relationship are developed with Caesar to be able to keep your establishment in order. How many law, how many rules, how many things to follow to keep all that material in order. Your house, your car. And why are you here? What's your purpose of life? To do that shit? I doubt it. It's to comprehend life. And one doesn't come in the way of the other than the depth of belief that you have in one towards the other one. And the process is to hate society so you can detach yourself from it. That's pretty much and the old message of it. That you either work with God or you work with Caesar. Caesar, it's the system. You detach the system and you start loving people, and you see what that brings about to you. Anyways, I'll stop with that. Good night.